Too sweet! Hi, welcome to JD Sports. I'm Jarrett Hood, that's Dwight. You can follow our personal Twitters at the show's Twitter page, which is @_JD Sports. Thank you for watching on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, if you would like to listen to us on SoundCloud, how do they do that?
Hit up that soundcloud.com/JD Sports Show for that SoundCloud.
So I want to start this off before we get into it. Happy Memorial Day to all the service members out there, past and present.
Most definitely.
Veterans, ones who have lost their lives. Obviously, that's what Memorial Day is all about in the first place. And even current military fighting forces. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. Thank you for allowing us to do something as simple and stupid as this at times. To argue about sports. I mean, that's can't really beat that kind of stuff. So appreciate all of them out there for allowing us to be free. Dwight.
Yeah, thanks for letting him talk for 45 minutes.
About nothing.
I appreciate it so much.
Dwight,
It's a joke, people. Relax.
There has been, I want to say it's going to be 10 days from the last time anybody in the NBA has touched a basketball in a game format.
You mean 2 months?
Till the next game. Game 1 of the finals is this week. It is Thursday. The build-up we've been waiting for since kickoff of football season, yeah? Yeah, we've known that this was going to be the two teams since, training camp of football last year.
So Kevin Durant ruined the NBA,
yes. July, 4th last year, he signed on July 4th.
The exact date, yes. Almost a year.
So,
happy anniversary.
Well, you got to get through the finals.
This year, it'll be about the time of the NBA awards, so yeah.
So Kevin Durant going to his first finals since 2012 when he was with Oklahoma City.
Sure.
Everyone else in this finals, right? I mean, this is the third straight time these two teams have met, and they split it. So everybody else in this finals that has a big name, the big marquee players, but if not all of them, has a ring. This isn't James Jones has plenty of rings. This isn't, we all need to go out there. I mean, this is the top of the top, the best of the best. They're all, the superstars are bringing everything to the table, including their past rings. Do you know what I mean? Where Kevin Durant's the one man standing there like, I don't have one of them pieces of hardware.
Sure.
So you have that. You have that to me, and you just talked about how last year, he changed the landscape of it. We knew it was going to be Cleveland versus Golden State in the finals ever since that day. But he has been out to prove that he wants to win that ring. That is a storyline. I fully believe throughout the entire thing that him trying to
storyline.
Huh?
That's the only storyline.
Him trying to prove it, really? I think there's a couple different storylines. I think you have Steph. Look, Steph, even the year they won, not the best performance in the finals. Steph, last year when they lost, actually had a better finals than the year that they won, but kind of, I don't think he disappeared, but people say he disappeared.
Nobody's looking at this final saying Steph Curry needs to prove to the world that he doesn't.
I don't think he needs to prove to the world. No. Not in any way, shape, or form.
No, he's not a narrative at all.
I think he's the third best player in this finals. I mean, he's doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. But I'm saying for the sense of you want to make a stamp on legacy, even though he has a ring, it's not like he was a standout player in that. So you want to do something like Jordan's not known for what he did in the regular season. Steph was unanimous regular season MVP, but Steph's moments, all of his big moments, we look at it as a shot here or a shot there, but nothing to do with an actual game or winning the championship. We just look at him being the best player on a team that did win the championship once. But he can go out there and average some crazy kind of points in this series and do something different. Look, I think KD's going to be the better player on Golden State.
I don't think anybody cares what Steph Curry does.
Even if he doesn't show up big? As long as they win, it is okay.
Yeah, I really do feel that way. I mean, if this is a situation where KD wasn't there, absolutely, 1,000%, it would be a conversation. I'm not saying he needs to go out there and stink up the joint. He's not going to get past when that happens. But
when he was the best player,
the narrative is KD.
I know, yes, but I mean, when he was the best, when Steph was the best player on Golden State, it's not like in the finals. Now, obviously, you can go to the rest of the series. You can go to they played 6 other series other than those 2 finals in those 2 years, and Steph was very big on all 6 of them. So I'm just saying you can point to those 2 finals as the biggest stage, and he didn't have that pop and Shazam that everyone saw in the other ones. Where I was just saying in the sense of this isn't a moment that I feel like is going to overwhelm him. It's a moment where does he feel like he needs to step it up a little bit because he doesn't have that pop, that Shazam, that moment in the finals that it cements everything that everyone's been saying about. I mean, yes, we agree. You think that KD's going to be the guy or the difference or whatever, and LeBron the other way. But
I think he's going to have to be, yeah.
A way for you to put yourself in that is being the best player out of those three in the series. And I feel like we look at Steph Curry in a whole different light if he can pull that out and be the best player out of those three in the series. If you go up and down the rosters,
I just don't think anybody cares really. Like even
it's just winner. Yeah, doesn't matter how you win.
I don't think.
Except if you're LeBron, because if Ray Allen hits a three to win it, then it doesn't count for you, LeBron. But everyone else, as long as you just win, you win. That's a shot at the LeBron haters, not you.
It's because of KD. It's because of Kevin Durant. Because everybody's focused on him now and his legacy.
What if
nobody's even talked about Steph Curry? No, who has mentioned Steph Curry's legacy since KD has gotten there? Not a whole lot of people. And nobody. That's the thing. Nobody's talking about it. Since the signing, nobody's going to talk about it, win or lose.
If KD doesn't have a big series, if KD doesn't have a big series, but they win. Like, say KD. Now, look,
and
KD's
everybody's
going
to be talking about how KD didn't show up. Yeah, he got his ring, and that's all that's going to matter in history.
So they're still going to hold it against him?
Yeah, definitely. Right. Definitely. That's just the way that this works. I'm not saying it's
right. So why doesn't it matter for Steph?
That's what's going to happen.
Why doesn't it matter for Steph?
Because they just don't view him as the best player in the world.
I don't think that Steph has proved himself to be any different or any...
Steph was already there.
But he didn't prove it. Like, in that championship run that they had over the last couple of years, he hasn't proved himself to be other than the best player on the best team. But he hasn't proved himself to do anything drastic that Durant hasn't done or can't. You know what I mean?
Because everybody proclaims that Kevin Durant is the best player on that team. And when and when you're proclaimed to be the best player on the team, you're held to the standard.
But what I'm asking is, why wasn't Steph held to that standard last year?
He was trashed for those 2 years.
But he wasn't trashed for the year that they won. He wasn't the best player in that finals.
Well, yeah, because they won.
But here you're saying that Kevin Durant will get held against him even if they win, and him not being the best player on the best team, even though he's the best player.
Because of the circumstance of him leaving. Okay. Yeah, it's a different narrative. It's a different. And I feel like it's a different story.
And I feel like if that was Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant. Obviously did it in the round before last year, but I felt like if that was Kevin Durant in the finals, or if that was LeBron that lost the 3-1 in the finals, they would get creamed more than Steph did. The team, the Warriors, the team got creamed for losing 3-1, but I don't think Steph necessarily got the brunt of it the way that LeBron or KD would, as the superstars of their team. Do you agree? I don't think Steph got crapped on as much as LeBron or KD would if they were the
I'll give you a maybe just to...
No.
I don't know.
I just want. It just didn't seem like. I'm not saying we let him slide. I'm not saying they let him slide.
It may not be as bad.
They didn't let the team. They didn't let the team. The Warriors slide.
But he got shit on. Yeah.
Okay.
And plus, it's whatever. I'm not gonna keep arguing. Keep going.
Well, I was gonna ask. So we were running through the top players of this, right? We got to Steph. I'm not asking to rank. We get to Steph. Can you compare Steph to Kyrie? Because the other side of Steph is going to be Kyrie. Neither of them play super great defense. I feel like when Kyrie is committed to the defensive end, he's the better one of the two on defense. But I feel like offensively, Steph obviously can shoot the three a little better. Kyrie can score inside a little better. I think they are right here neck and neck. Would you take Steph over Kyrie, individual players? They're both the sidekicks, right, of the best player on the team.
That's difficult.
And they do different things, so I'm not saying.
Yeah, that's what
I'm not saying
you
can just drop one in one offense and drop one in the other offense, and now there's your difference in the series. But what I am saying is Kyrie obviously has to come up bigger than Steph does because of supporting cast. But on the sense of you want your Batman, you know, LeBron and KD, okay, but you want your Robin to perform as well. And I think out of the two of them, I think Kyrie has performed bigger on these stages with less, I want to say pressure, because Steph, outside of this year, he was best player on the best team. You know what I mean? Where Kyrie was playing Robin this whole time. This is the first year Steph's playing Robin. Sort of like Dwayne Wade, but Dwayne Wade in those years in Miami ended up trying to take over in that Miami series, and he did take over in this in the series before the Oklahoma series to get them to that finals that year with the Heat. So you can be that guy who was Batman and then play Robin very well. And I feel like Steph, if Steph, who can put up 50 like that, is your Robin, and then Clay's your Robin B, who can put up 40 like that. I mean, that's obviously the pressure not there, but I'm looking at just the individual players of Kyrie and Steph. Who do you think has the better series?
I don't know.
Nothing?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if I had to pick one, I would assume just because of history, Kyrie would have played better. Just because of history. Period.
Okay.
I also think Steph Curry doesn't get the credit that he deserves as a defender. Everybody always washes him off like he's some horrible bum.
He's a horrible defender.
I don't think he's a horrible bum, but
I don't think he's a horrible defender.
That's the way it's always presented.
I think
and he's not.
Talking top point guard defenders, he wouldn't be in that class, but I think he's it's
a small class.
Yeah, but I think he's an average defender. I don't think he just stands there and gets burned.
Which is my point, is that people don't think that. I'm not saying he's Gary Payton out here, but he's not bad. So I don't know. Point being,
I don't think he's going to hold Kyrie, but I don't think Kyrie necessarily, even Kyrie
point being,
100%
okay,
can hold
here's your answer that's not your answer.
Yeah.
I care more about what Steph Curry does than what Klay Thompson does. So I need Steph Curry to have a better series, yeah.
Okay, so you care. Yeah, I understand that. And Klay's been kind of the forgotten guy. Not that he's had a big postseason, but he hasn't had to have a big postseason. They're averaging 120 plus, and he's not having a quote-unquote big postseason.
No, we've been talking about it all year. We just disrespect how much KD got there, which is absolutely abysmal.
Well, I said it in the middle of the year. Remember what I said about what I think?
It's also kind of abysmal that Steph Curry was named Robin in this conversation, but I'm not even going there.
You think that Steph's the Batman too, KD?
I don't care. I was
just asking. No, I was just wondering.
I do not know. I do not care.
Okay.
I just wouldn't disrespect him by even calling either one of them that.
Do you remember what I said?
I would have disrespected.
Do you remember what I said halfway through the year about Klay? I feel like the whole Klay thing and them having him take a back seat, quote unquote, to all this, and it's just to plan that in the future. I think that Curry's the odd man out. I think they're going to keep KD, and I think Klay becomes the guy that.
I think that's ridiculous.
They can only sign KD or Curry. They're not going to be able to sign both this offseason. I think you got to go with KD over Curry.
And I think there's always a way. They can find a way. And I'm listening to quote-unquote insiders that know this information. I've even heard them say, no, there is a way. People are saying there's not, and even those people are saying if they can find a way if they want to make it work.
It's going to be really tough for them to have a bench.
Nobody thought that LeBron and D. Wade and Chris Bosh could figure it out, and they paid those three guys. I'm not saying it's going.
That's true.
They're going to get a bunch of veteran minimums out here, but I'm saying there can be a way. But that did affect
the Heat in the first year. Now that should have been the reason the Heat lost.
I don't know. I'm just talking out my ass right now.
Anyways,
it can be done. I don't think that it's a situation where they have to get rid of both of them.
A real big talent, and so when you start to look at it,
frankly, I think it's really stupid to get rid of Steph Curry.
When you're talking about that roster, though, if it's between Steph Curry and KD, and that's who you have to pick one, I'm picking KD.
Man, to me, that's just a smack in the mouth. They can't do that. I'm not.
KD's just. Overall, I'm talking about.
I'm saying
the aspect of shooting,
I don't even think
defense.
They're not going to. Right, that's
rebound.
fine.
I mean, KD is just the better player.
I don't think Golden State's dumb enough to put themselves in that situation, because if you get rid of Steph in that situation, man, the amount of disrespect. Okay, KD's a better player. Okay, cool, and I'm not disagreeing with that, but man,
what is this sense of
PR,
entitlement from the team or the player?
I'm saying the PR perspective. If they would do that, man, that would look so bad.
When did these teams start caring about the PR perspective?
I got a better looking girlfriend. I'm going to go with her, even though this girlfriend was cool right here. She was good looking. She was cool.
That doesn't happen every day in life?
I'm not... oh, my God. This man has to take an analogy literally.
No, but, I mean... I hear
it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good is the point. It's not. There's no argument to that.
But they shouldn't...
Is it the better decision? Maybe, but I don't think...
You got to worry about winning. It's a bottom line business.
It's not going to look good. All I'm talking about is it's not going to look good. I'm not talking... all I'm saying is it's not going to look good. Period. The end of the conversation. It's not going to look... It would not look good. It looks so bad. So then where does he go? Where does Steph Curry go? Goes to place with the Spurs?
I don't know. I mean, that
and then he goes... I don't know. I'm just talking on my ass. He goes to the Clippers and then he beats you.
He can come to Philly if he wants.
And then he beats Golden State and then you look stupid. It looks... I don't know.
I don't know if
when he was the foundation of this whole
go to that beats Golden State. The Spurs would probably be the biggest question mark.
When Steph Curry, when Steph Curry is in his prime, and he's a monster, and he was the foundation of all of this, and you just say, nah, we're good. No,
what if they look at it as a system? Even though Steph Curry is the best shooter, I'm not saying that this is but you do have a guy in Klay Thompson who can put off as many points as Steph can on any given night, the same exact way.
You're taking this way too literally. I'm saying,
and he's a better defender.
You're taking it way too literally. I'm literally just saying it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good from a PR perspective. Everything else you're saying, I'm not saying is incorrect, because it is. But you're taking it too deeply. I'm just saying, PR perspective, it's going to look bad.
I got you.
It's going to look really bad.
I got you.
And I don't know. I'm not a diehard Golden State fan. I'm not a Golden State fan in general. So how are they going to feel that? Is that going to be cool?
The fans?
Maybe it'll be cool. I don't know. Maybe it won't be. I don't know.
Again, I just look at it as, one, winning cures everything. So if they win in the future, it doesn't matter. But two, when have these teams ever cared about the look?
I don't know. I'm just saying it's going to look really bad.
Outside of the Colin Kaepernick situation, I can't remember a team caring about the PR hit recording to cutting a player or signing a player. Colin Kaepernick is the first exception to that. But outside of that, like any player that's been cut, no, it's been ruthless. I mean, that's kind of the part of the business side of it that they all quote unquote say.
At the end of the day, they're not getting rid of either one of them.
I think it would be an interesting dynamic if they don't. I would like to see them both end up in Golden State, so I hope that what you're hearing is more accurate than what I'm hearing. Cause,
I'm not hearing anything. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just hearing that there's no way that they can do it, and I hope that that's wrong because
that's ridiculous.
And if they can figure it out, even better. Because I'm not against this team, and I'm not even. When it comes down to it, it doesn't matter. I think I would like to see them both play together for the future. I think it would be fun.
What if they do the Tim Duncan thing, or why don't Tom Brady them take a less money? Apparently, that's what everybody's supposed to do.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell these men what they're supposed to do with their money.
I'm not either,
but if you're talking about if you want to win championships, yes, that is the proven theory of how you continue to win championships.
Just saying it's impossible is stupid to me.
Impossible to pay them both back contracts. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
That is the absolute truth.
At that point, you're going to cut Clay or trade him.
And I think that you can
that's
just get
wild too. But I mean,
I think when Steph's a 10 out of 10 player, Clay's a 9 out of 10 player. Do you know what I mean? Where I look at it,
I don't disagree.
I
think he's been disrespected forever.
Yes, and Clay's I'm a Clay guy. Clay's been my favorite Warrior for the longest time. Him and Andre Iguodala, but I just look at it as if you're talking, you have those three players, it's easier to take the odd man out of Curry because you do have a Klay Thompson to step in and fill that role, where it's harder to replace the Durant aspect. You know what I mean? And they're scoring 120-plus points a game right now, and it's physically because they're not running the offense strictly through their guards. They found a guy that they can run the offense still down low and still get those three-pointers, and that's where I find that they would want to keep KD over him. That's a conversation for the offseason, obviously.
Yeah, they're not getting rid of KD.
And I'm with you that
stupid.
I would like to see them take both anyways, or keep both anyways and figure that out. I'd like to see them figure out a way to keep them and Klay and Draymond. I mean, that would be fun to watch these guys play together for 5 years and see a team like the Spurs or the Rockets or whoever is coming up in the West be a team to take them down. You know, I think that would be a fun storyline. Moving on, Draymond. This is a pivotal finals for him, for me, in my eyes, because last year everyone claims the reason they lost was because he was kicked out of a game and then suspended for the next game, and for some reason the next two games don't mean anything.
Probably facts.
Like, they lost the next two games with him in, but because of those other two games, it's the only reason they lost to everybody. So here's my thing. Draymond, we talked about KD, we talked about Klay, we talked about Steph, Draymond to me is what makes the offense and the defense. He's the vocal point player for the Golden State Warriors without actually being the vocal point player. You know, like, to me, he's what makes this whole machine run. He's the centerpiece.
Can't tell if you're being serious.
No, I'm being so
serious right now.
I totally think that
you're just being bitter because of the way people are talking about last year.
I'm 1,000% it. If you take Steph Curry off this team or you take KD off this team, well, yes, it looks and the aspects of it seem more impactful. I feel like it is way more impactful if you take Draymond Green off this team than anybody, because he is. If you can't stretch the floor the way he can at center, then the offense that they run makes zero sense, and they show it when he's not on the floor. It's not even close. Like, Draymond is he's the wheel. He is the one pushing the wheel, and everyone else is just along for the ride, trying to put the pennies in the bucket. You know what I mean? Like, he is the workhorse, and that's not sarcastic at all. I'm a big Draymond Green fan. I love that Draymond is the...
Okay, well, it sounded petty, but okay.
Because I find it absolutely ridiculous that he missed a game and a half last year. They lost 4 games, and because of a game and a half, one of them which they won, people claim that that's the reason they lost the series. I found that to be the most ridiculous comments ever.
It's your opinion, but fine.
They lost 2 games with him playing.
Okay, you saying he wasn't it's your opinion.
He was a factor. It is a factor.
Okay,
it's not the only...
your opinion.
Anyways, so, I do think... He, to me, though, because of what happened in that series last year, keeping his temper in this series is a key. Just because I feel like he needs to prove to the world. Not to me. I think he needs to just prove to the world, because that's a big thing still. And then just doing what he does offensively and defensively, making that impact on the boards, making that impact down low, getting the ball. You know, like, it's going to be him versus Tristan Thompson. And Tristan Thompson has become a really good inside defender, and obviously he's always been a very good rebounder. But he has upped his game this season as a defender. I mean, he was getting clowned last year pretty hard for his defense. He's been a great defender this year. I'm excited to see what Draymond has for him, because Draymond can shoot the 3. Draymond can take it down inside. And to me, Draymond is that X factor of if he does everything the right way and he has solid 4 games, then they win 4 games. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those, I do feel like as long as his head's in there mentally and he's not... The only thing that would scare me, I would say, with Draymond, because I'm not one of these people that think these guys just take themselves out of the game. The only thing that would scare me is that he maybe trying too hard because he's the one who has been for weeks saying, oh, we want Cleveland, and for months been the one, oh, we want Cleveland, and we want our second shot. And you know what I mean? People trying to spin it like, oh, he's saying he wants them to prove a point type. No, I mean, if that's the team we lost to the year before, that's the team you're going to want to play, obviously. And if both teams are full strength and they should feel like they have the upper hand, why wouldn't you want to go play them again? So I don't find that to be something like a mental aspect, but people say that he's mentally frail or whatever, and then he does these mental things. So I hope it doesn't affect him, and that would be the only thing that scares me. But if he has 4 good games, they win all 4 of them, man. They scored 120 points a game in these playoffs.
He was a difference maker last year. No, because LeBron did this. I know, but it's funny.
No, because they still lost 2 games with him on the floor. That's my thing.
Okay. I don't care enough to have that argument. That's so funny to me.
So, who do you think wins the series?
It's difficult because I really just don't care. I just kind of hope it kind of goes to a draw.
We're on total opposite sides here. I like both teams. I like watching both teams. I think they're fun. I think it's entertaining.
I used to like Golden State.
I think that they're both super intriguing up and down roster-wise. It's very interesting for way different reasons.
I said this earlier in the year. I mean, if I had to come down to it, I'd probably root for Cleveland because I feel like KD deserves this L this year. I just do. It's just the way it is. I don't care if it's his right to be a free agent. I don't care how I feel. I feel like he deserves to get this L. But if I'm putting something on it, money or my life or something stupid, Golden State's probably going to win. It's just, as much as I don't want to see it, I also don't want to see LeBron win either. This is why it's so difficult for me, because I don't want to see either one of them win it. But, man,
and I want to see both win.
Golden State is so stacked in comparison. I just don't think...
No, they are.
And I just don't think... I don't think Cleveland's going to have enough. As much as, you know, that... Well, they didn't. I almost said they swept away to the finals. Yeah, they had lost 1 game, but I just don't think like the whole competition thing. Like they have not faced a team of that caliber at all in the East.
Has Golden State faced a team?
I knew he was going to say that.
No, I'm asking.
I know he was going to say that.
Did they face a team of Cleveland's caliber?
I knew. I just knew you were going to say that. I just knew you're so predictable.
Golden State.
You're so predictable.
Well, yeah, we're doing a show here. You should know what I'm going to ask next.
That's the point.
We've been doing this for a year and a half. You should know how we're going to flow. That's the point of us doing this so well.
Because you're so predictable.
Well, you set it up for me to ask you that.
Because you're so predictable.
Well, this is how we get a good show going.
Because you're predictable.
Me knowing what you're gonna say, and then me hitting you with a question like a reaction question. No, I already know your answer, but you could just. I was looking for you to tell the world.
Do you know my answer? So my answer is gonna be no. They haven't faced any competition.
Yeah, I figured that's what you were thinking.
No, they haven't.
But I knew that you were gonna say that. I was just waiting for you to tell the world.
I don't remember what I was getting at. I don't remember what I was talking about.
So you're taking Golden State?
Yeah, and that makes me sick. Because Kevin Durant deserves his L for what he did to the NBA. That's not a Stephen A. statement. That's a Dwight statement.
It's not his fault. Orlando sucks.
It's horrible.
It's not his fault. Orlando sucks.
Yeah, good call, Kevin Durant. That was stupid. Why did he make that comment?
Because he was asked about it. He was
asked about what? Was he asked about the Orlando Magic?
He was asked why he didn't, or why is he blamed for making the league so uncompetitive? And his response was, "It's not my fault. The Orlando Magic suck." To his point,
it's your response.
It's also not his responsibility to care how we all feel. It's his point for him to go out and win championships. I'm not against what he did.
If it wasn't for the fact that he said if you don't like it, don't watch it, that'd be the stupidest comment he said this postseason.
I don't mind if you don't like it, don't watch the comment. You don't like.
We just had a whole conversation last week about how it was stupid. What are you talking about? You don't mind it? He said that. We just had a whole conversation about how he was wrong for saying that because of the future. What are you talking about? You don't.
No, I don't mind him saying it on the sense of like I understand what he's saying to you right now. No, we are completely correct on if you're for him for the sake of the future of the NBA. Yes, he shouldn't have said it. I don't mind.
He shouldn't have said it today either.
Being a fan on this side of it, hearing everyone else complain, I don't mind if he says that. That's fine.
He should have said it today.
For the future of the, I'm not worried about the good of the future of the NBA. Again, he should be worried about the good of the future of the NBA. So yes, his comments are wrong for that. But no,
so it's 2 statements in a row where it was like, okay, yeah, we understand what you're saying, but you shouldn't have said it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, we get what you get your point. Quote
this one doesn't hurt.
Point.
This one I don't even disagree.
I'm not saying it hurts. I'm saying like you're making an obvious like statement like, "Oh, it's not my fault you're learning magic science." No, that's damn well that's not what we're talking about. You know what we're talking about, and yet again, he takes a question.
We want LeBron just to be better.
He's out here taking a question and flipping it to his narrative to say, "Well, it's not my fault." What about what is your fault, which is what everybody's talking about? And stop going over here talking about the Orlando Magic and taking shots at them. Like, shut up. We know they suck. They know they suck. Shaq knows they suck. They left. We're talking about you and what you did.
But why are you mad at him and not the organization of the Orlando Magic? That's what he's asking. Like, he's to his point. Why aren't you mad at?
We're not talking about them right now. We're not. Who's saying that we're not mad about them?
But why aren't you mad? What he's asking is, why aren't you mad at teams for not being more competitive? Because the only team
we are mad, and we're
the only team you ever held accountable for not being any good is the Sixers, and that's because you hate Philadelphia. But you don't hold Orlando for sucking as bad as the Sixers have. You don't hold the Spurs.
We're not trying to suck.
The Spurs. You don't hold the Suns. The Suns started literally on average a combined team younger than either of the teams that played in the national championship in the NCAA this year. You don't hold the Suns to the same standards that you get mad at the Sixers for. So why don't you get mad at these other organizations for putting trash rosters out there and not trying to win and not being competitive? Because to his point, it's not his fault that these teams aren't trying to win. Because they're not. The Magic, the Suns, and the Sixers, the Lakers, none of those teams tried to win in the last month and a half of the season this year. Not one of them.
Again, because we're not out here talking about them. We're talking about you and what you did.
But he's asking, why aren't you talking about them? I hear you, but you guys have talked about that for years, for months. Why haven't they thrown that out there? Why not the other side of it?
Because there's teams that will always suck. That's not even a conversation.
But why does 24 of the 30 teams in the NBA suck? To his point, that's not his fault that the other 24 teams can't put a competitive team out there that him,
it is your
Houston,
fault that you added
San
another
Antonio,
one out there. Which is what
all he did was put another team into the worst.
That's what I mean.
Well, why can't Oklahoma City go out there and just be better? We tell LeBron he just needs to be better when he loses. We tell the Houston Rockets, well, they just weren't good enough, just be better. So why can't we tell Oklahoma City, KD left, who cares, just be better? I don't disagree with the comments. But because why don't we hold these? We're holding him accountable for being that good, but we're not holding the other team accountable for not being any good. I don't disagree with what he said. It's not.
Again,
it's not his fault the rest of the league is not as good.
The original point is Kevin Durant, Jarrett Hood. Nobody's out here disagreeing with what he said. We're saying that's not what we're talking about. Why don't you worry about you and what we're talking about with you and what you did with your situation?
But why is that all it talked about? Why is it never talked about the other direction?
Focus, boy. Focus.
I understand.
Focus.
Okay, this exact moment. You want to talk about that. That's fine.
That's what everybody's talking about.
But why isn't there a conversation afterwards? I'm asking you.
Ever. Do I work in the media? I don't know, dude. Right. I don't know. Because they suck.
So, but why are the Sixers
out here? Because they're out here flaunting it. That's why.
No, and I understand that. Yes, I totally agree that they're out here flaunting it. So if you hide that you don't want to continuously win, it's okay. But if you show the world that you want to win the championship, we have a problem, KD. I don't follow the logic. I haven't followed the logic since the day people have been giving him backlash, and I am just trying to figure it out myself.
I don't know.
Because I agree with him. I don't follow I don't have an understanding of why people hate him, but don't blame everybody else for not being as good.
We just gonna keep going in circles?
No. So,
Jesus
all right.
Christ.
So you take Golden State.
You need to start taking. You ask me a question, I give you an answer. Just take the answer.
Who's your MVP?
And ask me 5 more questions on top of that.
Who's your MVP of the finals? If you had to pick.
Me for not watching.
You're not gonna watch the finals?
No, I'm gonna watch it. That was a joke.
Listen,
Relax. Calm down. I know. Don't get up on LeBron. Don't get in LeBron feelings. Relax. It's okay.
Watch it with you.
I'll watch your boyfriend. It's okay.
I was hoping you watched KD because you seem like you're more mad at KD than LeBron this year.
Yeah. No, because then I gotta hear the LeBron. He's the greatest, and I gotta hear that nonsense. Regardless, that's not a win for me.
As I keep telling you, we got a couple years till we start talking about who's the greatest of all time, him or MJ. We got a while for that.
Do we?
We gotta wait till he retires.
That's all I've been hearing about.
I need to know his entire career before I know who's better. I want to know from
it's a stupid conversation.
A to B. You know what I mean? I don't need to.
Finals MVP. And I don't know. I don't even care. I don't know.
All right.
Well, if I pick Golden State, somebody on Golden State, I'm going with Zaza.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
You should put some money down in Vegas for that. I bet he's like 85 to 1 odds.
I bet I make a hell of a killing on that.
If he makes it, yeah, you would, man.
Shout out to him. Can you ball out for me, bro? I got $5 on it. I bet you I still make it.
Yeah, you probably make 150. Easily.
Mm-hmm. On a $5 bet?
On a $5 bet if he makes it. I'll look up his odds after the show. I guarantee you it's at least 150 plus.
I might be in on this, actually. Struggling out here. I don't know.
I hear you. I had a really hard time
picking.
picking.
It would probably I don't know who I would pick, but it would have to be Durant.
You would think Durant or KD, right? Or Curry, right? You would assume those are the top, and then you would go Green and...
Then some fucking wild ball. Yeah, curveball happens and fucking Iggy wins it again. This is like, really?
To hold him just under a triple-double.
At that rate, no. Draymond Green. There you go.
Okay.
I'm kind of not exaggerating. I mean, fucking Iggy won it the one year. Why not?
Yeah. I don't... I struggled. I've struggled since...
First of all, did you even pick who you thought was
No, I'm literally about to say this now.
Okay.
I struggled so hard because everything, like everything in my mind is telling me, take Golden State. They are the best team I've ever seen on paper, like without question. But everything else is telling me, as Tim Kurchin once said, when it comes to basketball, the biggest player is usually wins. The biggest, LeBron's obviously the biggest player, so you would think he's usually going to win. LeBron...
These odds are crazy, though.
These odds are crazy. Now, there's only been 6 upsets in the history of the NBA Finals, right? In the history of the NBA Finals, there's only been 6 upsets. 6 teams going into it. Swear to God, only 6.
No, I'm taking your word for it, sure.
2 of those 6 came from LeBron's teams. So he has 1/3 of the NBA's upsets in the history of the NBA Finals.
Who were those teams against?
The Spurs. He upset the Spurs. And
I think that was the one I was like,
they weren't favored last year. Golden State was favored heavy last year. That's actually the heaviest favorite of all time to lose. Golden State was heavy. Because they won 73 games most of all time, so of course they were. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So 2 of those 3, he wasn't favored in the finals and he won. But also he lost a finals that he was favored in against the Mavericks. So he is on one of the other 4 losing sides. LeBron's playing at a level that I've never seen, and if LeBron plays the way he did in Game 2 against Boston, which I know you can't stand when I come up with this idea, or other people can't stand when people say this, but like to me, the rest of the series after they won by 52 in Boston, he took it as a regular season thing, and then when they were losing in Game 3, he couldn't get it back because it's impossible for anybody, including, as he learned, LeBron James, to restart that motor in the middle of the third quarter and try to win a basketball game. It just doesn't happen. You need to be engaged the entire time. And I felt like he wasn't engaged in the first half. He took 11 shots throughout the entire game, and he took 7 of those in the second half. He clearly wasn't engaged in the first half of Game 3 that he scored 11 and they lost. I felt like he took his foot off the pedal on his own. I felt like he did in Game 4 as well, even though they won, but he had the 4 fouls in the first half. First time in over 1,000 and almost 100 games he ever had 4 fouls and a half, which is incredible. That, combined with Kyrie taking over, I felt like he never tried to get in Game 4. They still won the game. And then Game 5, they dominated. If he plays at his highest level, the Cleveland Cavaliers, as good as the rest of their roster is, I do think overall can beat Golden State. It's just, as much as I want to say Cleveland, I can't go 128 points a game. I think they could score 150 if they really want to. Golden State is just, they're the best team I've ever physically seen. That includes those mid-90s Bulls teams. I don't know how you defend them or stop them, and I think that Spurs being up 25 in Game 1 is the biggest fluke that I've ever seen in the history of anything, because I think if Kawhi's healthy the rest of that series, I think they win that game. Spurs win Game 1. I think they lose in 5 games, though. I think the rest of the series just Golden State finds their ways and torch them. I mean, obviously, I guess if I'm rooting for somebody, I'll root for LeBron in Cleveland, but...
So who's MVP then?
If Golden State wins... KD's the difference. He's the one guy without a ring, so to me, he's going to be the guy that he's going to try to do it all. I mean, he's going to try to do, and he might try to do a little extra, and that might hurt them in the long run. But I think that he's the one guy without a ring, and I know that I said that Draymond's like the wheel that makes everything go for their offense, but I think that running the offense through KD, and KD having something to prove to everybody, I think this is just going to be KD's series and KD's moment. I mean, obviously, if Cleveland wins, I have LeBron being the Finals MVP, obviously. But, like I said, I guess if I have to pick somebody I'm rooting for, it would be Cleveland, because I do obviously want to see LeBron continue to do these incredible things. But I don't have the fact that both these teams made it, I don't have as much of a loser in this as I would have ever before, because I like KD. I want to see KD prove everybody wrong. I'd be okay with him holding up that trophy at the end to kind of smirk and laugh at everybody, because I understand why he did and what he did, and I don't hold it against him the way that most people do. But with that said, I mean, this LeBron thing. I think it's fun to troll the LeBron haters, so of course I'm going to root for them. But
I think it's going to be fun to troll the LeBron apologists if he takes another L in the finals.
I'm
just going with the overall record.
I think they do. I hear you. I think they do lose in this.
Crazy.
I think they do lose this.
So do I.
Hey, I know what you're saying. 7 straight finals, though, I find it to be impressive. And to take a step back and start looking at his record in the finals, then, like I said, at the end of his career is when I want to add all this up. I don't have a way of summing up what he's doing right now.
I would put him, what, 3
time?
series below 500 with finals?
Yeah, he's, 3-5 now?
I think so.
In 8, yeah, he's 3-5 and 8.
It's better.
But
I'm not saying his legacy. I'm not going that route, but it does look better if it's
way better.
If it's at least 500 or closer.
Now,
I mean, if it's 200, that's.
We had a good argument about the competitive nature
wild.
before, but now,
that's wild.
So as uncompetitive as the East has been throughout LeBron's career, right? The West has been dominant because he's only been favored in 3 finals. This is his now 8th finals. He's been literally the underdog in 5 of them. That's incredible. And so, like, you look at it where you were saying about his legacy and stuff, like, Jordan was never the underdog in the finals. You know what I mean? I don't know if Kobe was ever the underdog in the finals. I'll have to look that up. But my point is like... Maybe to that Pistons team that they lost to, because that Pistons team won. They were the number 1 seed overall.
I was going to say maybe the Boston one.
Oh, you know what? They could have been. The one they won?
The super team one.
Yeah. They could have.
The original Big 3
right.
Yeah.
You're right. Maybe. They could have been the underdog now. Okay, so he might have been the underdog twice.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I'm guessing.
But
it would make sense.
Point being is you were talking about overall legacy. Like, part of it is I do factor in on, it's weird. LeBron has been on the underdog in the finals more than he has been on the favored team in the finals, even though he's made it to the finals 8 times now. So, like, I try to factor that in somehow with his record.
It's just not the reality of most people.
No, I understand that.
So that's what I'm saying. Longevity-wise and history-wise.
History forgets details. It's about the number.
Right, yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
You put a number to that? How many games? Because initially I was going to...
Are you ready? So what I want, what I'm hoping, what I'm rooting for is Cleveland 7, because that would be the best for the NBA.
Yeah.
Look, Golden State has the talent to do this in 4. Golden State has the talent. I don't think they do it in 4.
I won't even disrespect LeBron that much.
I don't think they do it in 4. I think it's a 6-game series, and I think that Golden State wins in Cleveland in Game 6.
So you're taking it 6?
Yeah. No, I guess it would go back to Oracle for 6. But either way, I have Golden State in 6. Because isn't it 2-3-2 again?
Dude, I don't even know.
I think it is 2-3-2 again for the finals.
Did he really switch that back?
I think. I'm not 100% sure.
I thought they
it's
flipped 2-2 to 1-1-1.
Is it back to that? Okay, so then...
I thought that's been the case. That was the case last year?
That was the case last year. I remember.
Right,
okay,
I'm pretty sure that's... Okay. I haven't heard anything, so I'm assuming that's the case.
Hopefully that's the right way, and then if it is 6, then Golden State wins in Cleveland. Yeah. I have Golden State winning in 6.
Again.
Look, they can win in 4, and I'm rooting for Cleveland.
And I was... it's difficult, because I even thought, as much as you just said that Golden State could sweep, I wasn't even going to say that, because I feel like that's disrespectful. I feel like saying
they
that...
have the talent to. I
feel like saying that it doesn't at least go 6 is disrespectful. But the more I think about it, it might go... I don't even know if I can say 5. That's...
The one thing I do want to say is, when I was talking about...
I'll take Golden State in 6.
Okay.
That means another L in Cleveland. That'd be funny as hell.
And Cleveland won on the road in Game 7 last year, so that would mean out of the 3 times they played, all 3 would be ended on the road.
Still smells like
by
champagne.
the away team.
The best quote ever.
The one thing I do want to say is I keep saying about how good Golden State is and they score 128 for the playoffs and whatnot. When LeBron did have his foot on the pedal in Boston, I mean, and throughout the entire playoffs, they scored 145 in a game. They can score 128, and I feel like they can do that with anybody. So not to say that they couldn't stay, because that is the difference. You need to figure out a way to stay offensively with Golden State. So their one fighting hope outside of LeBron is that they can score overall as a team in the 110, 120 range. You need to be able to do that to beat Golden State. You have to be able to score 115, 130 to beat Golden State. So I keep saying, like, that is their fighting chance outside of, obviously, the X factor of just LeBron being LeBron. Man,
dude, I just thought of something just really quick, just while you were... I was just thinking about Kevin Durant for a second. Man, it would if he loses this. I'm saying
people
him because to me, like I said,
people will destroy him if they don't win.
Like I said earlier on, I feel like he is the story.
Yeah.
Man, if he loses to LeBron again, and the way that.
If Curry and him both lose to LeBron again, honestly. No, I know, but Curry, people say that LeBron's in Curry's mouth too, even though Curry has one.
No. Durant is going to get destroyed if that happens.
I'll give you that. LeBron, though, it would be very reminiscent of that first year that the Heat was, where LeBron was on the Heat and they lost to the Mavericks. It wouldn't be the same thing because you're not losing to the best player in the world. They lost to Dirk and the Mavericks, who were just a very good team and got hot at the right time. But it would be very similar. That was the hardest offseason for LeBron James' career. LeBron James, for the first time ever, was disrespectful to the backlash. I mean, that was the first time he fed back into it where he was asked, and he said the next day, he was like, well, they just have all their miserable lives to go to, and I'm still going to be richer. He said something really stupid. No, but that's a very un-LeBron thing to do in that moment.
It's a very LeBron thing to do.
Because he was in a very vulnerable moment.
Sounds like a very LeBron thing to do.
But I feel like that's going to be KD's going to have that kind of off-season where, not saying those things, I mean on the backlash, the hate that LeBron got that off-season of, they started questioning every little thing about him. He comes back and wins the championship the next year, and maybe that's what Golden State will come back and do, because Golden State's not going away.
They're already doing that to KD. That's what I mean.
No, I hear you, but it will be, to your point, it'll be so bad. And
it's going to be funny.
The peak of LeBron was that. This would be the peak of that. But
it would be so funny
to compare the parallels, what I meant was Golden State's not going away anytime soon, like the Heat weren't going away anytime soon after that. So I feel like Golden State will still have their chance to redeem themselves years down the road, even with all that backlash. But it would be a rough offseason for him. That would throw a wrench into the whole who's resigning, how they're resigning, all that. Because right now, I think they just kind of...
Golden State's going to be like, well, we really didn't need you, did we?
Right. Everyone just kind of looks at it as, well, they already have the championship in hand, and that's why they're looking at the offseason the way they are. If they don't win the championship, I think that might change the offseason drastically.
Either way, I'm probably going to either laugh or be disappointed. Both.
So I know you're not super excited to watch it, but I would like to watch it with you. At least a couple games. The series, Dwight. I'll try to make it somehow fun and worth your while, even though you can't stand either way of this. I
like Steph Curry. I like Steve Kerr. I like Klay Thompson.
I like her too.
It's hard for me to root for any of them.
It's hard. It is going to be KD. It is going to be a little difficult to see.
Can it be the Dwight Howard Lakers situation where I'm like Dwight Howard, but I love the Lakers?
You did love the Lakers.
It might be
but
that.
You could not stand.
Maybe you know what? That's a way to look at it. Maybe I'll do that. So I could say FKD, but I love the Golden State Warriors.
So
that's wild.
Moving on from basketball, anything else to add?
Shout out to Steve Kerr.
Shout out to Steve Kerr.
Hopefully he makes it out there, man.
I hope he at least gets into it, at the end of the series, or if they win it, he can at least come out for the celebration.
He's saying if he doesn't make game one, he's probably not going to come out.
He's not going to make game one from everything that I hear. It's just I don't see him making game one.
That sucks. He might.
We're still a couple days away as of this recording, he still might do it. Right. But just
he might need to consider some things. Yeah.
Oh, and that's the big talk is that the offseason might turn into a whole different conversation.
Yeah, so shout out to him. That's all I got.
For him. Yeah, I agree. Well, we'll see. Hopefully it's a good finals. Hopefully you enjoy your finals. We're both taking Golden State in 6. So, keeping on with sports, the Memorial Day weekend, there was a lot that happened in sports.
Was there? The
thing that took the headline is a not retired golfer, but a golfer we haven't seen play in a while. The greatest golfer of my lifetime. He's up there with the top 3 greatest golfers of all time. Some people consider him the greatest, whatever. That's a whole different conversation. But the greatest golfer, he's the whole reason I watch golf. Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods, yo.
2009, he won his 14th major. 2 behind Jack. You really thought that he was going to get it. You didn't think he was too far behind. He had a little fall from grace with the whole incident with his wife and everything and on Thanksgiving that year. It's been a very interesting career since then. He kind of had a press conference.
That's the most PC way you could put that. Huh?
But he's came back to. He was the number 1 player in the world for a year and a half between 2012 and 2013. He did make the bounce back from the 2009 fall. Never made it back to the point where he won another major and never finished another major actually. And we're looking at almost 10 years since that. So,
yep.
Those are due to injuries that just happened to coincide with the same time frame. But once you're mentally out of it, the physical aspect of it starts to take over. So I think he had back problems before. I think that he just mentally was checked out since then, and the back problems have now taken over. And now at his older age, it's getting very harder to get rid of. 3 a.m. outside of Jupiter, Florida, police found him behind the wheel at a red light with 2 flat front tires sleeping.
Whose man's is this?
She's a model of some kind. She's like a blonde. She's like early 30s, blonde.
It's funny. Seriously, whose man's is this? Who let him, like, oh my god.
He woke up, didn't realize he was in Florida.
He woke up.
Thought he was in California when the officers were talking to him. Thought he had a golf tournament the next day.
It's not funny, it's sad, but it's funny.
Claimed there was no alcohol.
I refuse to be mad, it's funny.
Did the breathalyzer, there was no alcohol. So it was prescription pills that he said.
Can I say really quickly, that's why I hate the whole DUI thing, because you automatically assume what, alcohol?
Everyone assumed right away that he was drinking. It was 3 a.m.
Can we go DUID, like DUIA?
DWI, like, driving while under the influence.
Can we like separate the drug and the alcohol thing? Because everybody automatically assumed like, damn, he was out drinking, and then no, it was just drugs. But
well, the reports.
That's a side note, regardless.
The reports from TMZ were that he was drunk and not cooperating with the officer, and
I didn't see that.
So, and that's why people were going off that way. So
but this is why I'm saying we need to separate the acronyms and make it
TMZ
longer.
Was so far off because their police report is he wasn't drinking at all, and the officer actually said that he was like super respectful, and when he did come to his senses,
TMZ.
He went from being like, holy crap, all right, like this is really, like, apparently Tiger was like, this is really bad, and he started apologizing to the officers for finding him in that state instead of being disrespectful the way that they were portraying it.
TMZ, they're pieces of shit.
No, I agree.
So nobody should go there anyway for any reliable anything.
But when it comes to these sports athletes, the one TMZ has usually got, like the Pac-Man Jones stuff, they have been getting it pretty consistently
better, yes.
Before the reports have come out. But this report, where they were so far off that, to your point, I'm just not going to probably believe anything TMZ ever says again, because they were literally the exact opposite of what the actual police report said.
First of all, I'm saying we need to separate some things, but yeah, TMZ, fuck them for that.
So you were saying it's not a joking matter and whatnot. The one serious part I do want to add to this, because 2 things. One, people are trying to reevaluate Tiger Woods' life, which none of us have talked to Tiger Woods. So any of us, like the people, Stephen A. Smith, who likes it. No, but these people, I know I'm calling Stephen A. out, but not just him. So many people are trying to like evaluate his life and his fall from grace, and if his dad was still alive. And look, we don't know. He could have been taking these prescription pills because he's had 7 back surgeries. His back might hurt so bad that he can't get out of bed without taking some kind of prescription pill. Chances are he was probably addicted and getting high on them. I completely agree. Or not anymore getting high, but now just addicted, physically addicted, and can't feel like he can move his body without them. But it's not speculation that we should be having in the first place.
I think it's more so. I don't know, but I would presume that it's more so the fall from grace type crap is more so saying, bro, at what point are you just going to adult out here and just make better decisions?
But we don't know what he was in. We don't know the state of mind he was in. What if he takes these pills all the time, always feels okay, and that night was the first time that it made him feel that way where he passed out?
Sober him should just know better, because I'm sure the bottles, all prescription bottles have the warnings. You shouldn't be. Yes. You probably should be driving. You should be
up at 3 a.m. And he wasn't drinking or anything. Like, he didn't have any signs of mixing or anything. It was just the pills that he
should be behind a wheel, and that's more so what people are saying. Like, be more responsible. Look, just in general, be an adult.
There's not an Uber that can take him far enough that's going to drain his bank account. So I don't disagree that wherever he was and wherever he was trying to go, if he felt that way, he should have just called an Uber, because even if it was $400, Tiger Woods most likely has $400 sitting somewhere to give that Uber driver. I'm just trying to separate the whole, let's say he's this, let's say that. We don't know if this is because of surgery. We don't know if this is because he has a problem. We don't know if this is because the doctor prescribed him the wrong pills. Like, we don't know a lick of the situation, and everybody wants to try to say the reasoning why, or, this is out of control, or this is this.
It is out of control.
The basis of he shouldn't have gotten behind the wheel, I completely agree with. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to throw sympathy or understanding underneath it, but...
Are you sure?
I just see it from the side of...
So, no, he's not sure.
I'm not one to sit here and tell him that he did something wrong, because I don't know what's put him in that position. I agree, he shouldn't have gotten behind the wheel, especially he should know better if he's feeling that way. But the other side of it is we don't know if this is...
Stop being so optimistic about the circumstances.
I'm not being optimistic about it, but just the day before everything, everyone was talking about how drunk he was, and here he blew a 0.00. So, while I'm not trying to be optimistic, I'm just... Were we dead wrong about the story once? Yeah, so what means...
They're talking about his fall from grace in general since everything with his wife right now.
That is it. That is the reason that he is not the best golfer in the world. What happened there? He went from being untouchable to divorced and not have his kids around anymore, and his wife and the entire establishment. That is his whole mental establishment changed that day, and he has never been the same golfer, obviously. So, but that's so. What are we trying to analyze here? Of course, it was a fall from grace.
Nobody's analyzing it in general. But people are just saying that that's onto the list of damn, it's a shame. It's a shame where he's at.
But what if this is just something of him getting prescribed something wrong and him, you know what I mean? Like that's happened. People have gotten the wrong prescription, reacted the wrong way, weren't able to go about their life that day. Like, I'm not saying that's what happened to him. I'm just
put some responsibility on him and say, you know what, man,
he shouldn't have gone behind the wheel if he was feeling that way. I just said that he has enough money to buy an Uber. I get it. He could buy probably the company of Uber.
Make better choices.
It's sad because
he's a grown-ass man. He's not some 21-year-old punk kid that's doing dumb things. He's a grown-ass man. He's likely been taking these drugs for at least since the surgery, if that's what it is.
Yes.
If not, he's been taking it his whole life, depending on what it is. I don't know.
That's very possible as well.
I don't know what his life. I don't know. But I'm saying, he doesn't deserve to get any benefit of the doubt. As far as I'm concerned, he's just been such a fuck in recent years. Off the field, on the field, whatever.
Outside of the 2009 incident, I think he's been very well since 2009.
Whatever. But it's just been a downward spiral. And the bottom line is make better choices. You're not a kid.
The one thing this does do, I think, certifies that we're not going to see him on a golf course again, which I was not hoping to ever see him on a golf course again, as much as I love Tiger. Because there's been reports coming out the last couple weeks that he's been playing really well, on courses, and they were saying about he's making a comeback and he's feeling the best he's ever felt and all this other stuff. And I was reading all these things, and I'm like, please don't come back. Please don't come back. I just kept reading them, please don't come back. Please, Tiger, do not come back.
He's been on this comeback for 10 years.
And I just keep reading about how he's trying to put four solid days together of under 60 before he enters into a tour, or under 70 before he enters a tournament. And he was putting together 3.5 days of good, but he couldn't. His back was hurting in the fourth. And I'm just reading all these things, and I was like, please don't come back, Tiger. And I mean, that was just 2 weeks ago I read about how he was basically making a comeback, and they felt like he was playing pretty well again, and I wasn't sold or bought on it. But so this is going to probably derail that thought of a comeback most likely. Is it time for sponsors to start letting him go? He has about 5 or 6 sponsors, big time sponsors left.
Does he have any left?
Yeah, he's about 5 or 6 big time sponsors left. Is it time? Would you, if you were the sponsor and you held on this long to Tiger?
Yeah, that's.
It'd be time.
It's just the last straw, regardless of. Well, maybe.
If you stayed this long.
The sponsors aren't going to be here sitting here for 5 minutes like you having all these maybes.
Right.
It's still. They're going to pull it. They're pulling it. I wouldn't. No, if I ran a big business, I'd put all my money in you, and I'm sponsoring you. Dude, you're too much of a risk. That mugshot isn't cute. Whose uncle is this out here?
Yeah, the mugshot looks really bad.
No, it looked no.
Everyone's mugshot looks bad.
I'm not investing
really bad.
My money or my reputation backing some guy that is just, he isn't even playing well on top of that. So
yeah, I think
people want to make the Colin Kaepernick thing. Well, if he's playing well, people will take him. Well, Tiger Woods hasn't been playing well for how long?
People still give him chances.
Right. I don't know.
All right, well, no, I most likely pull to him. I'm a sponsor if I'm still with him at this point. I don't see there much left for him, and I don't see much of a career left for him.
No.
Look, if we ever see Tiger
biggest Woods fall from grace ever in sports.
Yeah, no, and it's not even close. And to me, it's sad because he is such a he was. Serena Williams is the most dominant athlete I've ever seen. Tiger Woods is the second most dominant athlete I've ever seen. He literally he beat a field by 24 strokes once at the U.S. Open. It was the most impressive feat I've ever seen in sports, in the individual sports at least.
Problem is,
outside of Serena winning a major 14 weeks pregnant, that's actually the most impressive thing I've ever seen in individual sports. But Tiger winning by 26 is the second closest thing. So.
And anybody still listening to this, how many of them were alive when that happened? That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, you're right, Tiger. Oh, man, it's starting to get...
That dominance has been a...
That dominance was 97 in 2009. And, look, that stretch of dominance...
We were children.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, look, it wasn't until early 2000s.
9?
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't until I was about 12 or 13 years old. I didn't watch Tiger until the last couple of years of his career. It was getting into the last 4 or 5 years of career. And I saw the end of his dominance, and I saw, I was as shocked as everyone else when it happened because I'm the biggest Tiger Woods fan in the world going into that Thanksgiving night that he did all that. So... Yeah, you talk about. I look at it as like that guy literally drugged me into a sport, and then
that's what he did to most people.
I didn't,
except for people like me that just didn't watch.
Now, I think because I've been attached to these athletes at such a young age that even by the time I was 18 years old when that happened with Tiger, I wasn't attached to the athletes where I felt like what I saw on TV or in commercials was them. Like when that happened to Tiger, I was shocked, but I was only shocked in the sense of, oh man, we're not going to see Tiger play anymore. I wasn't shocked that he did that as a human or that happened to him as a human because I was attached to athletes before that ended up being big pieces of crap and they were bums. I mean, Floyd Mayweather. I was a huge Floyd Mayweather fan for a very long time. Started to learn. No, as a boxer, but I started to learn what he does outside of the ring. I'm not a big fan of the human Floyd Mayweather, so I've started to split my athletes in the human version of them. I don't care what they are as humans because most likely they suck and they are pieces of crap like Floyd. But I do like the athletes usually. You know what I mean? So at that point I wasn't as shocked. But Tiger was somebody who captivated an entire audience, made them believe he was this Buick driving All-American.
Made you believe.
And bull. The 09 incident happens and he is just not the human that people portrayed him as he is. You know what I mean? And then here we are now almost 10 years later and it's 8 years later and people are just, this is something else to just throw on and pile on and people don't like seeing their heroes fall like that. So they make it 10 times worse.
He wouldn't be the first athlete to finesse America.
No, O.J. Simpson?
I really wasn't going to say it, but yeah. That's
O.J.
where I was going.
completely finessed America. He's the biggest case of that.
Right.
But Tiger Woods isn't far off. Tiger Woods not. Look, I don't think that Peyton Manning eats Papa John's and drives his Kia around.
No,
you know what I mean?
out here.
Right.
He's just not doing anything.
He's doing that for the dollar, right?
Outside
exactly.
of the college thing, allegedly, or whatever.
Well,
but
he was 18 years old.
Right. Point being, nobody thinks he's a model citizen.
Right, and that's
at least we don't.
But
like
people
he's
do.
portrayed.
But
yeah.
people do. If
right.
something were to
right.
happen with Peyton Manning, the public eye tomorrow would freak out. Like Peyton Manning could do that. Like people look.
It's like they were like, no, there's no way you smacked that girl in the ass or pissed.
Right.
What the hell did he do? I don't remember.
He rubbed his balls on her face. He rakishied it. He rakishied her.
You give her a stink face?
Yeah, and then he yelled it. He gave her the stink face and then yelled it as he was doing it, and then walked out.
It's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
At 18, he was 18 though.
Like
it's not funny, but it is funny.
No, it is funny. I don't care. All these PC people need to get a sense of humor. That's fucking funny, okay? Get off your little feminist shit. Like, that's cool, but that's
he
funny.
Shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have done it.
No, absolutely.
And it's not something we condone or
that's
would do.
That's what's annoying is that people would, like, if we would actually had, like, a viewing audience, they would take that clip and clip off the rest of it.
They would take that forever.
Even though I just said it's not right?
Yes.
No, it's funny.
They would take that forever. You're
It's your
absolutely
life.
right. Stay in your lane. They would take the stay in your lane type thing. It would be that.
Please
it would be that.
there. So they're saying that's... You know what? I'm going.
So, but as I was saying...
I'm not going where I was going.
So, I'm not as shocked as this whole Tiger... And I don't feel like piling on him the way that people do on Tiger Woods because I wasn't as shocked or surprised or hurt by it the way people are hurt. People are actually hurt because they felt like that was somebody that they brought in their home every week and disappointed them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got more to say about Tiger? All right,
I'm just laughing about what I refuse to say.
I know. So, moving on from Tiger Woods.
Just staying in my lane.
In the rest of the Memorial Day weekend.
Let that dry.
There was a pretty big thing that happened in baseball. There was two big things that happened in baseball.
Must not have been anything positive. We're talking about baseball in May.
All right, I was just going to say, so, the issue baseball has is when we talk baseball in May, when a show like you and I start talking about baseball in May.
Any show talks about outside MLB Network.
Usually it means something bad happened in baseball. And two things really bad happened for baseball. One, the most important thing that I think is getting completely overlooked, Mike Trout got hurt for the first time in his career. He's going to be out for 2 months. The reason I feel like that is
a lot of people are talking about that.
I feel like that is the biggest story though of the weekend in baseball. People are adding another story that we'll get into as the bigger thing. Here's my thing with Mike Trout.
Isn't he out for the year?
No, just at least 2 months though, which is, I mean, there's only 4 or 5 months left. So yeah, it's almost the whole year.
Okay.
Look, here's my thing with Trout. Trout, this is his 5th year in the league. All 4 of his first years, he's finished, if not first in the MVP voting, second in the MVP voting, right? He's never finished lower than second in those 4 years. The reason I find this to be such a big deal and so important that he got hurt, he was having the best season of his career, and he's never finished lower than second in the MVP voting. That is absolutely ridiculous. And the Angels suck, but you can't get him out. He's on a really bad team, and you couldn't get him out. Like, it is the most impressive thing I've ever watched when you watch a baseball game, I've never seen a lineup so bad and a player yet still be so impossible to get out because you could just pitch around him and yet they still can't pitch around him. So I find that to be a big problem and an issue, and that sucks for a baseball fan like me who I like the Phillies. The Phillies aren't good, so I watch other teams. I can see the Angels. I watch some Angels, and you know what I mean. So like that just takes another team I can't watch. And I'm a big Trout fan. Trout, best player in baseball. Second best player in baseball.
Who that?
Bryce Harper.
Who do you play for?
Plays for the Nationals. He is probably the face of baseball because one thing, he plays on the East Coast, so we all can see him do a little more. He's more vocal though. I think even if Trout played on the East Coast, Harper would be the bigger name because Harper is more vocal than Trout. Trout's more of a laid back guy. He's not going to get into conversation. He's not going to tell the media we need to make baseball great again. He's not going to, he doesn't really chime in on the problems. He just kind of goes about his business, does what he does, moves on.
Shade.
What? That he said he wouldn't say he's going to make baseball great again. He just makes baseball great again. He's not going to say it.
Shade. Keep it moving.
I like Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper.
That's not what I was talking about.
Oh. Bryce Harper making fun of the president?
Just keep it moving.
Bryce Harper this weekend got beamed on the buttocks, 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
So
pointed the bat at the pitcher, yelled a couple things.
That's all he did. He pointed the bat at him.
Started running towards the pitcher. Took his helmet off. Decided to try to...
like 3 miles west.
He wanted to throw it at the pitcher, but it slipped out of his hands because... It was funny. It went closer to the first baseman than it did the pitcher, and he wasn't too much farther from me to you to the pitcher.
I laughed when I saw that.
And then he got a pretty good one in the nose for doing that and missing, but he got a good one back in the nose.
I hate baseball.
And that was about the extent of it, okay? Here's my problem.
So he didn't take the bat to my man after he just beamed him with the ball?
Could have, should have.
That's my problem.
Well, that is, as Manny Machado said once, you're telling me they can throw a 95-mile-an-hour ball at me, but I can't take a bat out and swing at them? What kind of fairness is that? And I agree with Manny Machado.
That's what I hate about baseball. And their apologist fans, they're like, well, no, part of the game is to throw the ball at a guy.
No, that's ridiculous.
Well, then I'm coming at you with my bat. Like, what is the difference?
It shouldn't be part of the game. It should never. That's the most ridiculous comments. And you're right. That is the argument.
These baseball purists out here, and they make me sick.
I'm coming
at you with the bat. You hit me with the ball. I'm not just going to sting you and point the bat at you. I'm coming at you.
I did as much as I could. We didn't really talk about the Orioles-Red Sox situation. I did as much as I could to avoid that because to me this is not something this shouldn't. You always talk about Ball and how we shouldn't give him attention. To me this is ridiculous that we have to give this attention. But because a guy hit a home run, Bryce Harper, because he was better than who was it? Hunter Strickland, right? Yeah, Hunter Strickland. Because Bryce Harper was better than Hunter Strickland in 2014 and hit 2 home runs off of him in the postseason. Hunter Strickland decided, well, I can't strike him out, obviously. He's faced me twice, hit 2 home runs. So if I face him a third time, he's going to hit another home run. So instead of trying to be a man about it and trying to get him out and trying to beat him man-to-man, he hits him with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball first pitch he sees him. So he's faced him 3 times. Home run, hit him.
So you came and Barry Bonds him and just walk him?
Home run, beamed him.
And that's okay. That's cool. That's cool.
My favorite part of this entire thing...
That's why I can't stand baseball.
The Giants' best player is their catcher. Whenever this happens, a pitcher beams a batter, the catcher's the first one to stand up, usually get between the batter and the pitcher, and if the batter goes to start running towards the pitcher, the catcher usually does something to make sure he doesn't get to the pitcher, because the pitchers are the quarterback, so the most important player on the field usually. Hunter Strickland beating Bryce Harper.
Yep.
Buster Posey stood up, watched Bryce Harper charge the mound. Didn't even go towards the mound until there was a bunch of people there, and then he walked towards the mound and backed out. Now,
maybe he felt he deserved it.
So many people are mad. Oh, how could he not defend his teammate?
I mean,
no.
Sure, but
look, I look at it this way.
Why are we not
if your
mad
teammate was in the wrong, I am with Buster Posey by, as you just said,
maybe he thought it was bullshit.
So here's my thought. Not only do I think that he thought it was BS because
he has a bat.
Okay.
There's a lot that I'm like,
number 3.
Buster, defend your mans, but...
number 3, Buster Posey is the best player on the Giants, right? So he looks at it as, you just beamed the best player on the Nationals. Right. What do you think the Nationals are going to do in retaliation? They're going to beam the best player. Well, Buster Posey's standing there like, dude, you just got me hit with a 95... Like, you literally just got me hit with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And now you want me to go out there and try to stand in front of Bryce Harper, who is 6'6", and 240 pounds, mainly pure muscle. You want me to go stand between you and him because you hit him with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And tomorrow, when I get in the batter's box, I'm getting hit, by the way.
Yep. 1,000% guaranteed.
And people are mad at Buster Posey for not getting in between that. I don't understand that.
You defend your mans if you feel like he's wrong.
I'm not defending that pitcher ever.
If you feel like he's wrong.
Yeah, right. And Buster Posey.
I'm all for defending your mans if
this wasn't that.
Right, I just don't understand why it's okay. Like
it's not okay.
Why is it okay for these pitchers out here to do this? I don't understand.
I don't understand why it's okay either.
These old ass baseball people that feel like this is cool. I say old because I don't know any young baseball fans outside of you. And you're saying it's not okay.
I don't agree with it, right?
Like I don't get it. And the older heads are saying it's cool, or the majority in the majority in the situation.
No, you're right. I am in the minority on baseball fans. I think the entire situation is horrible.
You beat me with the baseball. I'm coming at you with the bat too. Like why is this a thing that's just like, oh well, yep, it's expected. Baseball is unwritten rules. Like fuck that. That's why nobody watches their unwritten bullshit.
You know me. I think the Bryce Harper is saying let's make baseball great again. Being okay with the bat flips, being okay with watching the ball go out of the park, putting some emotion in the baseball game.
With that. Maybe people would actually watch.
I think more people would watch. It is a much more fun and entertaining game than let's just sit there and be quiet until we're told to not be quiet.
I partially gave a crap when Barry Bonds was out here when he had a little bit of swag to him.
Right. Ken Griffey Jr. You love Ken Griffey Jr. Why? Because there was flair. There was something to draw people to the ballpark.
Entertain me. You're supposed to entertain me. You're not entertaining me.
I think Buster Posey is the MVP out of all this. I think it's ridiculous. Bryce Harper got suspended 4 games. I'm pretty sure he got fined for it. And Hunter Strickland got suspended 6 games and got fined for it. My thing is Strickland got suspended 6 games, but he's not an everyday player, so he's only going to miss 2 or 3 games, where Harper's actually going to miss 4 actual games.
And that's that BS, too.
So Harper technically is going to miss more games, even though it's 2 less actual games. It's
baseball.
And that's not fair to Bryce Harper, who all he did was defend himself for getting hit from a baseball, for doing his job a couple years ago in the playoffs, which is the biggest moment of his career. I mean, he hit 2 home runs in that playoff series, and now he's getting beamed because he was better than the guy doing it. Why? And now he's getting suspended for that.
Why is it okay in hockey for you to check me and I get up and punch you in the mouth and I sit down for 2 minutes?
You know why?
It's not okay for baseball players to defend themselves.
Because if...
I don't get it. This is hypocrisy.
If Chandler Parsons punches Matt Barnes in the face, he's called a thug the next day. Cam Newton was called a thug because he danced a certain way in the end zone. But if Bryce Harper goes out and throws a punch, or Hunter Strickland throws a punch, or if hockey players throw a punch, they're not called thugs.
I don't think I heard that term at all.
From any of them.
No. Actually, I know for a fact that.
But this would be thuggish behavior, according to everybody who calls Cam Newton a thug, or all these basketball players, right? This is thuggish behavior, right?
It's just thuggish behavior.
Right. Why is it
by everybody's standards, yeah.
Why is it more accepted? Because you have people like the Giants owner who said that Colin Kaepernick would be a distraction and there would be backlash from his fans, but he did sign a kicker 2 days after that kicker beat the shit out of his wife and then told them he beat the shit out of his wife.
I'm just saying.
That's why. If you could follow that logic and you're still watching and you understand all that, then you would understand exactly where I'm getting at.
It's factual.
Moving on to hockey.
Mm-hmm.
The Stanley Cup has started. By the time we get this up, the second game will happen. Only the first game has happened. I told you I thought it was going to be Penguins Predators, but I was hoping it would be Predators in Ottawa. It has been Penguins and the Predators. It's been, not fun. All of us fans who don't like the Penguins are not excited to see more Penguins fans on our screens. Game 1.
He's talking about you Flyer folks.
Not just them. Actually, you know what's weird is the Penguins, which I don't think it's right because Crosby is the best player in the league. The Penguins are becoming one of the most hated teams across the NHL. Like their fan base is. I don't know what the team is. I know their fan base is.
Kind of like Eagles fans.
Look, when you become super successful, people don't like New England. People don't like Alabama fans. Like when you become as successful as the Penguins are becoming, I guess this happens. But
because the fans become obnoxious.
They do, and people feel like they don't deserve it. Which look, that's a whole different conversation for a whole different day. But as much as I wanted Ottawa and the Predators to be in there, it is so much better for hockey that Sidney Crosby's playing in another Stanley Cup, whether he wins or loses. Yeah. It's the popularity of hockey grows 10 times more because he's in it. So people can be mad all they want, and I don't, obviously, just because I'm a Flyers fan, I would be rooting for Ottawa to win that series against Pittsburgh last round. But I understand the benefits of having Crosby in the Stanley Cup. Game 1, since we're only, like I said, Game 2 will happen before this is up, so I can't really test that. But Game 1 was weird. It was the oddest game that I've seen from either team in this playoffs. I didn't see the Predators. Pekka Rinne hasn't played such a bad game all playoffs, and they lost. And there wasn't a shot taken for 37 minutes from the Penguins, which was weird. I haven't seen the Penguins play such a bad game, but they won. Look. there was a play in the first period. PK Subban scored. They claimed that about 45 seconds earlier, the play was offsides. They went and reviewed it. It took them about 5.5 minutes to review it, and they called the play offsides. Here's the thing. I don't mind them reviewing goals, and I'm actually a very proponent of replay in all sports because I feel like if you have the technology to correct the problem, then correct the problem. But I didn't like, a couple years, I think it was 2 years ago when they added this whole offsides, you can replay offsides. I didn't like that one because it's such a offsides is the most bang-bang thing in hockey, and it's really hard to dictate, and it's really hard to have clear evidence all the time because the skates curve up, so you don't know if the puck's always fully across the blue line before the skate gets to the blue line. One, okay, and two, just like holding in the NFL, offsides happens all the time in the NHL because it's so bang-bang and close that now you're reviewing holding in the NFL, and that would be a bad slippery slope, right? So I haven't liked this whole let's review offsides thing since they came out with it. There was 45 seconds that happened from the offsides in question to the goal. So there was 2 more shots. So there was 3 shots of a goal, 2 hits, and 45 seconds taken off. They sit there. They did the 5-minute review. They decided that it was offsides. The play itself, there is no clear evidence that it was offsides. So after a minute and a half, you're watching the review and there's no clear evidence, then I just say you keep this call on the ice, whatever it was, okay? A. B, there wasn't clear enough evidence yet after the 5 minutes of them looking at it for them to not, for me to say, and I think not just me, because I felt like, am I just biased here? Am I just rooting, hoping that the Penguins don't win? I'm not the only one here. A lot of people felt like it wasn't even offsides, but my thing is if you're going to do this and you're going to review the offsides and you're going to take the goal away that happened 45 seconds later because of this, do you take the 3 shots off the board? Do you take the 2 hits that happened in that 45 seconds? And do you restart the clock to that 45 seconds and then drop the puck in the area right before the blue line the way they do in any other offsides if they caught it when it happened? They don't do that. They didn't take away the stats. They didn't give the 45 seconds back. They just, he was offsides 45 seconds ago, so everything that happened in the last 45 seconds counts except for the goal. We're going to take the goal away now because he was offsides, quote unquote, even though it's questionable if he was. But, you don't take any other stat away. You don't add the time back on it. I don't understand the logic of that aspect of it. If you're going to take the goal away, take everything away that happened in that 45 seconds because that's not fair to just take one part of it. You know what I mean? Because you wouldn't review it if there wasn't a goal then. So what's the point in this? To the particular play itself, the NHL has been very bad this postseason overall, and I felt like that was their lowest moment. It took them 5.5 minutes to come up with a conclusion, and the conclusion wasn't even right in most people's eyes because it wasn't clear-cut evidence that the call on the ice was wrong. Do you know what I mean? So that changed the entire thing in Game 1, and I feel like that's why I felt like it was so weird, because then you get the Penguins score 3 straight goals, so they go up 3-0 when they were supposed to be down 1-0, and then they don't take another shot for 37 minutes, which I've never seen happen in a hockey game, more or less the Penguins' offense, which is one of the best in the last 10 years. I mean, that's incredible. And Pekka Rinne, who has been the best player for the Predators, giving up 2 soft goals. I haven't seen that all playoffs. And it was the weirdest game of the postseason I've seen from either team. And that's the best way to sum it up, because I feel like it just started that way. I don't think it's going to take the Predators out of the series completely. A lot of people are like, here we go. This is like, look, it was just a bad call. It was just a bad call by the refs. I don't think there's any conspiracy thing here. I don't think it's going to affect, it affected the Predators in that game, probably the rest of that game.
There's a conspiracy? You're most conspiracy theory.
No, I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I think they just had a bad call. I think the refs have sucked all postseason. I don't expect them to be much better in the Stanley Cup.
Okay. Just checking.
They should be, but they're not going to be. Do I think that it changed the outcome of the game, or do I think it changed the dictation of the rest of the game? Yeah, the Penguins scored 3 goals in the next 8 minutes. That doesn't happen if they let the goal stand for the Predators. But
at the very least, it would be, 3-1 then?
But who doesn't... Right, and the Predators they lost on 5-3, but it was an empty netter with 30 seconds left. So technically, it's 4-4 then, or whatever. So you know what I mean? So, to your point, so what does it change?
A lot.
It was a very... Yeah, but... on the sense of, I don't think it's going to dictate the rest of the series. And look, that could happen in the middle of October, in the first month of the season, and it could dictate a game, that gives you a win or loss. It just happened to be the Stanley Cup that this happened in.
Bad timing.
I still think, look.
I'm saying NFL, that's funny.
What's the difference with the officials in the playoffs? Just as bad.
Get it together.
I have the Penguins winning the series. I have them actually winning it in 5. I feel like they are the much better offense because, up and down, they're lethal scoring. Rinne, best goalie in hockey as of late for the Predators, and their defense has been so good that they held the Pittsburgh Penguins to no shots in 37 minutes. So I'm not, when I say Penguins in 5, Penguins have the skill, as I said, like Golden State in 4. Golden State has, to me, can sweep it. They have that kind of talent. Penguins have the talent that they can win the series in 5. I don't think they do, but they win the series. So
yeah.
I'm rooting for the Predators. I like PK Subban. I find it ridiculous that people can't stand him, and now that he's on the biggest scale, it's just like everyone's taking shots. And he's another. He likes to have fun with his hockey, and people don't like that he scores a goal and does the bow and arrow and has fun. And yeah, he has a good time. He plays super passionate. He's probably on the ice entirely too much, and he looked really gassed in Game 1 towards the end of it because of how much he plays on the ice. They're going to have to figure that out. Peter Laviolette, the coach of the Predators, I think will handle that a little better throughout the rest of the series. But it's a learning experience. And look, at the end of the day, you're playing Crosby and Malkin and the rest of that Penguins offense. You're going to try, you're going to take risks, you're going to do a little random things, and sometimes you're going to get embarrassed. I don't think they got embarrassed in Game 1. It was just a weird game. Rooting for the Predators, though, obviously, because I'm a Flyers fan, so we'll see how that goes the rest of the way. Stanley Cup, the playoffs in hockey have been really fun. The first game of the Stanley Cup did not disappoint. I'm hoping that the finals in the NBA are as close as the rest of the playoffs in the NHL have been, but I don't think that... could we see,
I'm not holding my breath.
If this was a 6-game series, could we see 6 different blowouts? You could reasonably see Cleveland pulling a game out by 20 points at one point just because it gets out of control, and then Golden State's like, whatever. But you could see Golden State winning every game by 20 points on all their wins as well, right? It seems like we might not have a game that comes down to the last 3 minutes or last 2 minutes with these two teams. Isn't that scary? Where in the NHL you have the game was tied with 4 minutes to go.
After having a crappy NFL postseason, yeah, it would suck.
We're hoping for better.
It would suck.
Well,
speaking of NFL and things people don't like, how about the NFL and their celebrations?
They did change it up a little bit.
How about that?
They're going to give them a little bit of leash. You're allowed to take a jump shot now.
How mad are people going to be?
You're allowed to do a choreographed dance.
How long is this going to last before there's a mother out there writing a letter?
You can't twerk, though.
So that's the only thing that's cool? That's not cool?
No twerking.
My thing is, literally, I'm cool with that. I think that the leniency needs to be there, but it should have never been a situation in the first place. Should have never been a problem in the first place.
But Cam Newton thought because he danced in the end zone once.
That's why I'm the fact that it went to the direction of it's PC, you can't do anything, and it's taunting, and now it's going. They're trying to go back and moonwalk back, and it's just like no. It's going to take at least a couple of years before.
Oh yeah, before people are used to it. Fans, yeah.
No.
Yes.
How many letters are we going to get this year? That's
a lot.
How many letters is Cam Newton going to get this year?
Probably 4 or 5.
6. 12.
He's only the 44th best player, so it's not like people care anymore.
Right, that's
he's not like a top 10 player anymore. He's the 44th best player in the NFL. He's a nobody.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Bum. So, that's it for JD Sports.
Yeah.
This upcoming weekend's going to be the first weekend in a long time that we don't turn up together because I got a Phillies game to go to.
That's gross.
Considering as of this recording, they lost 23 of 29, and I'm pretty sure they were losing before we started this recording, which would be 24 of 30. Yeah, it's kind of gross. Their best player, Franco, not playing so good, so hasn't been all that fun lately to be a Phillies fan, but...
Trust the process.
No, actually, it's funny. So, Sixers, the whole trust the process, I've been walking around the season with the Phillies saying, quote-unquote, what's the process? Because I'm getting a little confused. For a while, I thought I understood what they were doing, and now I'm back to how I was 2 years ago. What are they doing? They have a really good minor league system, and they just seem not to use these young guys. I figure, what's the difference? If you're going to lose 23 or 29, say they brought these young guys up, what if they lose, what's the difference? They lose 28 or 29. At least you're doing it with these young guys, and they get a little experience. I'm ready to start bringing up all the guys from the minors, because they have a lot of studs in the minors. Not that they would win in the MLB today, but they can't lose much more than they are anyways with the quote-unquote MLB players. So, I could go on forever about that Phillies team. I'm not going to.
It makes me happy. It does.
Eagles OTA started this week. They look pretty fun. Dallas's offense, man. I was just going through that the other day with my cousin. They're super lethal.
Are we talking about OTA lethal? We're talking about...
Yeah, 7-on-7s. Could you imagine being Nolan Carroll trying to cover Des Bryant? Nolan Carroll got a DUI.
I was going to say, he's not covering anybody.
Not covering anybody right now.
Is that because he's just a thug, or is it because he's a cowboy? It's a trick question, ain't it? Because literally when that happened, I was like, huh. cue the Cowboys thing, but I was like, I mean, technically he's still an Eagle because.
Yo, why is Michael Irvin out here telling Odell Beckham Jr. to calm down off the field? Kind of funny, like a little ironic. No, like a little, like just a little, sort of ironic.
I'd have to hear.
He said something about this, him, calming himself down, focus more on football type thing, stop doing crazy stuff off the field, the party and all that. And I'm just like,
I mean, he probably would have every right to say that because he's been there.
The pot called the kettle black, though.
Well, that's the point, is that he probably would have more room to say it than anybody.
No, it wasn't like a teaching thing. He said it in a sarcastic way, because I wouldn't call him out if it was a teaching thing, because I'm with you. Yes, he would have the room to say that. Also, and the one thing I do try to keep pointing out to people, one has 3 rings. I love Odell, but I mean, Irving does have 3 rings. So
Irving's also a Hall of Famer.
Right, yeah.
Just throwing that out there. I don't know.
But he did. I mean, for him to tell somebody else to stop doing what he did, it's kind of funny. It's a little funny from the side of things. I like Odell. I don't think Odell has a problem off the field. I think Odell does just fine on the football field. I feel like he's focused enough on football. He's not the reason they lost to the Green Bay Packers in that game, because he went on a voting trip. I find that's the reason they lost.
1,000.
We could do this all night. Thank you for watching Daily Sports. I'm Jarrett Hood. That's Dwight.
Peace out.